Hello everyone, my name is Adam and I love movies. I grew up in the 80s and 90s and the nostalgia of those times will always stick with me. But sometimes nostalgia can cloud your vision of things. So come with me as I go through the movies I swear all my life I've loved, and let's see if I can still see the magic that I once did. This is Adam's Retro Rewatch. Hey everyone! We're back here now.
We're back here now.
After how much fun we had. We had fun doing She's Out of Control. I decided to bring Alison back to do another movie. A movie we've actually both seen this time. And we both claim to love it.
Yes. Claim.
So what movie are we seeing?
Back to the Beach. Have you heard of it?
Me?
Obviously you've heard of it. I think a lot of people haven't heard of this movie, honestly.
Yeah, it's really it's an unknown movie or forgotten movie, I guess.
Yeah.
It wasn't really widely released, and I don't think it was very widely
recepted.
Yeah, well recepted. Yeah. It's a 1987 comedy starring Frankie Avalon and Annette. It's a 1987 comedy starring Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello from the Mickey Mouse Club.
Mm-hmm.
Annette.
One of the original Mouseketeers.
Yes.
She's the best.
The movie's a kind of self-aware, pseudo-biographical / where they are now type movie based on the characters that they used to play.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like their fictional world as it is today in the 80s, not today as in today. But it's not just them. There's a lot of characters that are from the 1960s TV and movies that make an appearance in this movie. Avalon and Funicello play amalgams of their characters from the 1960s party beach movies that they did. They did a lot of those.
They did, but and we'll talk about this later. I haven't seen one.
Mainly the most famous is Beach Blanket Bingo.
Yes, try to say that fast.
Beach Blanket Bingo. That was the first time I said it too.
Amalgam. What was that word you used?
Amalgam. It means a mushing together.
Are you gonna do one of the things in the bottom where you put the...
I might now. Yeah, it's right there.
We teach people. We're teachers.
Well,
yeah, Beach Blanket Bingo.
Right. And it's about them 20 years later going back to the beach.
Hence the name Back to the Beach.
But it's all based off a 10-hour layover that they decided to turn into an entire weekend.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
But it's funny because you get to see them reacting to the similarities and changes of modern beach culture, if there was a beach culture in the 80s. It involved a lot of surfing and long-haired dudes saying "dude," and strangely leather punks.
Yeah, I never saw any leather punks on the beaches when I was growing up.
No,
but I didn't grow up in California.
We didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me, watching this again, it reminded me a lot of those newer Brady Bunch movies that came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
But more grounded in reality. Well, their reality, not as crazy and silly and stupid as the Brady Bunch was.
The Brady Bunch.
But it still had that same feel to it, like when Bob Denver, and Alan Hale Jr. were the bartenders, and they were still the skipper and Gilligan.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of funny, but yeah, it covers a lot, and then there's a lot of Skippy peanut butter in this movie.
Yeah.
It was Annette Funicello that did all the Skippy commercials, right?
I don't know. I think that was like a little joke. And that's the funny part about this movie. And I'm not saying whether I still like it or not, but I don't understand why I was so infatuated with this movie when I was younger. I would watch it probably every other week with my friend. And I never watched any Beach, Blake, and Bingo. I mean, I did remember Annette Funicello from old Mouseketeer shows, because I was a big Mouseketeer Mickey Mouse Club person, but that was like in the 90s one with Ryan
Brittany
Gosling and Brittany.
Yeah.
But before that, they would show the older ones, and I always remember Annette. Everybody knows who Annette is. And Frankie Avalon, he sang all those songs. He sang Venus in what?
I don't know.
She's Out of Control. Remember when she's coming down the stairs and he's singing Venus?
That was the Frankie Avalon?
Yeah.
Dick, you know Venus? Venus? Yeah. You're asking me, Dick Dale, if I know Venus? No.
Watch that video.
See how these are connected?
Yeah.
It's almost like we're doing a series.
But we're not.
Connected.
No, we're not.
Okay.
No. So yeah, I knew who they were. Frankie Avalon is super hot, right? Like everybody loved Frankie Avalon. Like he's still kind of attractive now. But I've never watched beach movies. I never watched Gilligan's Island. So rewatching this as I'm older, I know who these cameo people are, but I didn't know who they were when I was younger. So I have no idea why I loved this movie so much. So I don't know if she did Skippy peanut butter commercials, but in the beginning, she is just this like housewife, right? Like this perfect, the house still looks like they're in the 60s.
Yeah.
And she's got the cute little 60s dresses or whatever from Greece.
The big bow in her hair.
Big bow. And she opens up the door, like the cabinet door after she's like unloading groceries. And there's like 100 jars of Skippy peanut butter and like ketchup and maybe tuna. I don't know. There's like lines. Like she almost looks like a hoarder.
Yeah.
But a clean hoarder. Like the house is immaculate. And the son, like one of my favorite lines.
Oh, Bobby. He was great.
Bobby is this like punk kid who doesn't like, her look or her dad or his dad's look. And he's like, every day I get peanut butter for lunch. It's the same thing.
You know there's peanut butter in there. It's like a sick kind of fixation with you.
Well, it's good for you. You need it.
No, Ma. You need oxygen. I don't know how to break this to you, but peanut butter is not one of the elements essential to human life.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Are you saying that you don't like peanut butter?
Ma, I'm just saying I need a change. Something different once in a while. A little variety.
Well, why didn't you just say so? Tomorrow, you get the chunky.
It was useless.
And that's just like quintessential, like what I think Annette Funicello would be as a mom.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, well, I'll just give you chunky. Or I don't know. It's just so funny to me.
Yeah. And speaking of Bobby, the movie is kind of told from his point of view. It starts off with him narrating it, and every so often he'll break in and start talking about what's going on in the movie. And if you recognize him, because I didn't when I looked him up, he is the I Want My $2 kid from Better Off Dead.
Johnny.
4 weeks. 20 papers, that's $2 plus tip.
Gee, Johnny, I don't have a dime. Sorry.
Didn't ask for a dime. $2.
Well, it's funny. See, my mom had to leave early to take my brother to school and my dad to work because...
$2. Cash.
Yeah, I still don't recognize him because I don't know Better Off Dead is better as you do. Better.
But he doesn't look like him anymore because he's older. But he's one of my favorite characters in the movie.
Yeah, that was one of the first movies I can remember as a kid where he broke the fourth wall, right? Mm-hmm. Like he looks at you and he's like, I want to die, or I don't like my parents. And I'm like, oh, he's talking to me. I don't remember a lot of movies like that when I was younger. So
and I just love the way he just harps on his dad all the time. Yeah. He's like, do you know what that word means? Do you want me to conjugate it for you?
Do you know what conjugate means, Pa?
I mean, you can see there's a good family dynamic in there, even though there's a lot of ribbing going on.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Griswold family.
Yeah, I was thinking of the exact same thing. It was very, very Clark and Rusty.
Yeah,
couldn't
totally.
think of their names. God, we went off on a tangent.
We did. Sorry, that was my fault.
Oh, but we didn't really.
Oh, you got to talk about Miss Laurie Laughlin.
Oh yeah, Mother of the Year, 2019.
Yes.
Yeah, she plays their daughter, it's the reason they skip their layover.
Right.
Because her dad is overprotective. Again.
Sandy, my honey bunny, my baby wavy, my little baby wavy. So once again, we have an overprotective dad with his firstborn as his baby girl. And, she moved off to another part. Well, they're in Ohio.
Yeah.
The family moved to Ohio to he's a car salesman. She, like I said, is a stay-at-home mom. But the daughter, Sandy, stayed in the beach. I don't know. Are they like on
the California? It's
I know it's the California, but what part of California do we know?
I don't know. Wherever the pipelines are, we don't surf, so
pipelines. It's a beach.
Yeah. And they go back to it.
So she's there, and they're like, "Oh well, we could have a layover and go visit Sandy." And the second they say the word Sandy, he's like, "Oh, my little baby, my honey bunny!" Like I'm like, "Oh my god, what is wrong with you? What's wrong with these fathers and their daughters?" I don't know. Maybe because I see my dad all the time.
Maybe I don't know.
But he's dying to see Sandy, so they go visit Sandy, who lives above a
bait shop. Right on a pier too. They live on a pier,
and he does not like that. He's like, she lives on a pier above a bait shop. My daughter's too good for that. Yeah, it's hysterical.
And another great scene is when they're using Bobby's head as a battering ram.
Door. Yeah.
Oh my
god. So many funny things.
And you just hear, "Ow, Dad!"
And the reason that she's not letting them in is because she's hiding her boyfriend.
Yes. That they're living together.
Who's a surfer, by the way.
Yeah. Who you kind of don't like at first because he's got that surfer bleh.
Yeah.
Like he complained about the soap on the rope being all mushy. But you kind of, just like in The Family, he kind of grows on you.
He looks familiar to me too. Every time I see him.
I did not do research on him, but he does look familiar.
I think that he was the same guy in Cutting Edge.
I do not think so. But I could be wrong.
I hope you are, because I like when you're wrong. Anyways, what is his name? Do we know his name?
The character's name is Michael.
Michael, that's right. And he is a surfer, like I said, and he proposed to Sandy and gave her a little surfboard guy in a ring, and a funny line when they get in a fight, when they get an argument about it, because he's kind of like a low life, right? He doesn't have a lot of money.
Yeah, he makes surfboards.
Right. He makes surfboards, and she's like,
and airbrushes them. And
stuff.
Stuff.
How are you gonna, take care of us when we're married? And she's like, "Oh, you gave me this ring with a little guy and a board," and he's like, "Oh, I thought you'd like that ring," and she's like, "Well, good thing you're not a plumber, otherwise I'd be walking around with a toilet bowl in my hand." Like it's just funny humor that as you get older and you watch this, it's funny. Like it's not cheesy at all, even though it sounds cheesy the way I'm saying it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of her best roles too.
Yeah.
As a movie, you don't see her much in movies.
No, she was Aunt Becky.
Aunt Becky, and now she's in jail.
Oh, she's out.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Shows you when we recorded this.
Yes.
There aren't really like stereotyped antagonists for this movie. I guess they would be the punks, but that comes much later in the movie.
Well,
as them being the bad guys,
the bad Zed.
Yeah, Zed.
But there's also another form of antagonist with Connie Nelson.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
her last name?
Oh, yeah. Trying to steal Frankie.
Kind of. They make it seem like it. So she's his old girlfriend from the past, and they make it seem like she's trying to steal him away from Annette. But she really doesn't. But they try and make it seem like that. So there really isn't a lot of bad people.
They try to fuel the jealousy angle with her and Troy.
Oh, Troy. So many characters in this movie. It's just hysterical. It really is.
The punks were so stereotypical. I mean, they were so stereotypical 60s beach party punks. Like they're all dressed in leather. The one little guy named Tiny with his spikes and everything.
Stuff that you're not supposed to wear on the beach in 100-degree weather.
Right.
I don't know. But they befriend Bobby. Because Bobby's like, finally, people that I can relate to. Like, and he befriends Zed. Yeah. Zed's the leader.
And in the beginning of the movie, Bobby's still all in his leather gear with the switchblade comb, just like showing everyone.
And that is probably one of my favorite lines. And I say this isn't one of those movies that I quote a lot, I don't think, but there is one quote that I do a lot and hardly anybody gets it. So when they are riding in this, like, it's either blue or red convertible on their way, like, did you guys rent that after you got off the airport? Like, I need a car and I need to go visit Sandy. Let's see, Avis rental car. Yes, a 1960 Cadillac convertible is perfect. So they get in that and they're driving to see Sandy, and he's in the back seat, like sitting up at the top, and he's got his like leather hat on, and he's just going like this with a switchblade, like looking around, like he's just gonna like stab someone on the beach. Like he's completely out of character, or out of
his element,
out of the element. And as they get closer, Frankie Avalon's character goes, "Oh, what's that smell?" And she's like, and that's like, "You smell that? It smells like the ocean." And I use that all the time because she's so, like, I don't know, those people who love the smell of the ocean.
Oh, God,
I can't stand the smell of the ocean. But her little voice, she's like, "Yeah, it smells like the ocean." Like, she's just so excited. And it was just so cute. That whole little scene with them is adorable.
Well, the whole thing with her, there was like not a bad attitude at all with it. Even when she thought she was being like replaced, she's like, "I'll show them."
Yeah.
And I mean, she was like she was Annette Funicello, basically.
And that's why the mom and that's why Laurie Laughlin and Bobby, what's her name again? Sandy and Bobby, they really do love their mom, and they look at her, even Bobby's like, "Why are you so positive? Like, how can you be so positive, Mom?" And because everything is just like, "Well, if you can't do this, let's do this." And, you got to turn that frown upside down. And that's when she like bursts out in song in the middle of the beach, which brings us to one of the main characters is the music. The music is phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah, it's not a musical, but it's got a lot of songs.
My nose keeps itching. It smells like the ocean.
That's what happens. Yeah, I mean, the soundtrack is right here. I'm actually proud of this. It's a first pressing from 1984. But it's got, oh my God, it's my first experience with Fishbone and ska.
Yeah.
Pee Wee Herman does Surfing Bird out of nowhere, just in the middle of the party. He shows up.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Pee Wee's here."
Yeah. Like, you guys knew who Pee Wee was. And then he just flies away into space on a surfboard.
Yep. And you got Dick Dale and Stevie Ray Vaughan.
That's pretty cool. Like, again, I didn't know who those people were. And when they first come into the, I don't know what the name of the club was.
Oh, the Pineapple
Club. And she's like, Dick Dale's playing, honey. And I'm like, who the hell is Dick Dale? Now, mind you, I'm like 9, right? I'm like, who's Dick Dale? Why are they so excited? And then you see Dick Dale, and he's got this wind machine blowing his hair as he's playing guitar, like, and then probably,
and the girls in the body glove. Body gloves. So I think they sponsored this movie because everyone's wearing body gloves.
I had body glove, not because I'm a surfer, but in the 90s, I had bicycle shorts. Do you remember? You probably didn't wear bicycle shorts because you're a guy.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, they were.
Unless you were actually riding a bike. Girls didn't wear bicycle shorts to ride bikes. We wore them because they were badass looking. I had black ones with a hot pink stripe on it. Mm-hmm. So I knew body glove. So yes, they're like going like this, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're doing this. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. But I didn't know who Dick Dale was until Pulp Fiction. So he was ahead of the time, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And one of the now saddest lines in the movie was right there when Annette, she's like, "Dick's playing. Let's go say hi to Dick."
Right.
And Frankie's like, "We could come back in the year 2000 and say hi to Dick.
Like he's never gonna die."
Well, but Annette Funicello, this was her last role because of her multiple sclerosis.
Right. But she was so cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was a lot of good music, a lot of pineapple drinks. Troy,
Oh my God.
He kind of looks like the live version of a Max Headroom, maybe, like his head.
He's like Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, that's perfect. Johnny Bravo with like a gold chain and a gold Speedo
and mesh shirts.
Ooh, the mesh shirts. And he comes up and he's like, "Hey, Annette Funicello." And he's like, "I once bought a girl one of these drinks. I forget what it was called." And he's like, "She drank it. She went up on stage, took all her clothes off and did the cha-cha." And she's like, "Okay." And he goes, "My point is, I want to buy you too," because he was just so in love with her. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy. And he just basically followed her around the rest of the movie and tried to get her attention.
But and going back to that scene is another great scene, because when Frankie comes on, he's like, "Oh yeah, the old whatever the name of the drink
What
was."
was that's gonna bother me?
Yeah.
Stunned mullet.
Yes. He's like the old stun mullet trick, and he just downs the thing and walks off. And Troy is like, "Oh, so that's your husband?" And then he goes off to the other girl,
Right.
And he wraps his arm around, and he's like, "Oh, what was your name?" He was, "Oh," and she was wearing a zebra print, because she's like, "We're back to the battle in the Serengeti. Oh, look, they glow in the dark."
She was the one, every time she laughed, she giggled. I think her name was like Crystal or something. I don't know, but yes. Oh, there's so many funny characters, and they all show up at the end when Pee-wee comes out.
Right at the party.
At the party
that they were supposed to be throwing for the harbor master, played by Don Adams.
Who, again, I didn't know who that was. So all of these character references, because he does the
he was Agent 86 in Get Smart.
And he does the Get Smart line in this movie, and I'm like, I don't know.
Missed it by that much.
Yeah, I didn't know why that was funny.
I watched a lot of Nick at Night as a kid.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So we've been talking a lot about this movie, but the real question is, do we still love it?
Yes! Obviously.
Yeah, we can't not talk great things. That
was funny. You're like, okay, I got to do that.
Obviously, we still love it. And that was one of the things I was afraid of going into this movie, because I remembered loving this movie so much, watching it all the time and being entertained. And my worries were quelled because I did not have a problem. It's still fantastic. It's weird because it's not adult humor. It's not kids humor. It's kind of in the middle. It has this like timeless feeling. Like, yes, it's in the 80s and they're going back from the 60s, but because of that time shift, you can enjoy it even now.
What was it rated?
I believe it was PG.
It should be rated PG-13 possibly. I mean, there's a lot of adult things in it, adult humor.
I guess.
I don't know.
PG was a more harder thing in the 80s.
It was. I was just trying to think of it. It's kind of borderline like a Disney family type movie where it's kids and adult humor.
Yeah, but it was kind of like spoofing all that too.
It was. That's why I think it's made more for adults, the people who grew up with these beach movies.
Right, because I mean, you do have Gilligan and the Skipper. You have Agent 86. You have the Cleavers that show up at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stuff for people who enjoy the 60s, that like the 80s.
Or ska.
Like
Fishbone.
Yeah, my first.
Yeah, so when Fishbone comes out, and I'm like, who are these weird people? I genuinely thought it wasn't really a band. It was just like people that they hired. And I'm like, the way this guy is dancing and blah, blah, blah. And then fast forward like 2 years to when I'm introduced to No Doubt, who is completely inspired by Fishbone. And then Fishbone's everywhere. And I'm like, it's the Back to the Beach guy. And people are like, what? So, yeah.
Yeah. And they were more the more uppity ska than, say, like the Specials and
uppity ska.
Yeah, where it was just fun.
Oh, I thought you meant they were like snotty ska.
No, that's the Boss Tones.
But that's what uppity is. The Boss Tones.
But this movie was it's entertaining and it's very quotable, especially the one quote that everyone knows, of course, is.
What is it? Oh, why, oh, why? Is that the one quote everybody knows?
It's the one quote that people know the movie knows.
Okay.
And that quote would be, why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, did I ever leave Ohio? And
why would you leave Ohio?
Why would you go to Ohio?
Aww. have family in Ohio, but yeah, I mean, why would you go to Ohio when you could go to the beach?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Nobody goes to Ohio on purpose.
No, that's true. So, can we go back to ska? Can we talk about?
Yeah, let's talk. Let's turn this into a ska video.
Let me get the old record. So, God, just looking at this is so adorable.
It's
how cute. Wait, why does he have a parrot? There was no parrot in the movie.
There was no parrot in the movie.
That's weird. But one of the best songs, God, I can't read. I'm getting old, is
It's also dark in here.
Jamaica Ska
By Fishbone.
and Annette Funicello.
That's right. And apparently nobody except for Annette Funicello knew how to Jamaica ska because she had to teach the whole beach.
Okay. Well, she taught me.
Because you had to shake your hips and then swing your arms.
Uh-huh. Now do a dip. Ska, 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 do, 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 do.
And then there's Troy in the middle just doing the monkey the whole time.
Yeah, the monkey. And then we have Wipeout. You know, everybody knows that. And Rory Bory.
Oh, Rory.
Oh, if anybody knows why I said Rory Bory, you're going to get, I don't know what, but if you do, if you know what movie that's from, write it in the comments because that is one of my all-time favorite movies. Maybe I'll do a retro rewatch with that, but spoiler alert, I will always love that movie.
And a little hint on that movie. It's not 16 Candles. It's not she's not saying it because it's racist.
No. Rory Bory. Yeah, so this is great. It's just such a cute, and the outfits that Annette Funicello wears, because I just love the 50s and 60s, and she's got these cute little outfits.
Everything was polka dots with her too.
Yeah, polka dots, and she had like matching big chunky headbands. Super cute. Yeah. Okay, you can put that back now.
And we got Dick Dale and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman, and there's the Zed. Is that Zed? No, that's Fishbone. Okay.
Zed didn't sing anything.
Zed's dead. He did. He sang at the end. Remember, they're always together. He was up there.
Yeah. Zed's so unknown he doesn't even have a picture on IMDb.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. And he looked familiar.
He looked familiar, and he looked attractive. He was like that hot, like bad guy.
Yeah. And speaking of the punks and the music, there's one song that played when Bobby was teaching them the secrets of the cherry bomb.
Yes.
It was that punk song is like, I degrade you.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
I say screw you.
Yeah.
That is not a real song. That was a
that.
song written by the producer of Star Trek 4 for a scene in Star Trek 4.
Why would that be a scene in Star Trek 4?
That was one where they go back to 1980s San Francisco to save the whales. And he was a producer in that movie, and he needed a song for the punk on the bus to sing. Or not to sing, but to listen to. And they're like, well, let's not get a licensed song. I'll just write one. And he did. And it's the only other movie that song's been in.
And it's not on the record.
Nope, because it's not a real song.
Right. It's like my made up songs when I'm making peanut butter sandwich, not peanut butter.
When you're making,
I don't
you're just
make
churning peanut. I don't know why. Do you make it like butter?
I don't know.
If you know how to make peanut butter, leave it out.
I always thought you put nuts on the bread and you take your knife and you just spread it and it magically spreads because that's what the commercial.
Yeah. Are we wrong?
That's not how you make peanut butter.
Welcome to What is Peanut Butter by Adam and Alison.
Well, peanut butter is pure magic.
Peanut butter is magic. And choosy moms choose Skippy.
Choosy moms choose Jif.
Not in this movie.
Oh yeah, I just thought you were wrong.
Me? That was a nervous laugh. Oh.
What other fun facts do you have? You always have fun trivia facts. I don't ever have fun.
Well, also, sadly, this was Annette Funicello's last movie due to her having MS. Even through this shoot, she was starting to show signs of it.
I never noticed.
Yeah, I think it was all off screen. She was like tired a lot and stuff. But it's also the last movie appearance of Bob Denver, Alan Hale Jr.
Who's Alan Hale Jr.? What
the skipper.
Play? Oh.
And I think that's it.
Dick Dale, probably, right?
I don't think Dick Dale made many movie appearances.
You're right. I mean, he just did music.
Yeah.
But he's passed.
Yeah, probably him and Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Stevie Ray Vaughan's not passed.
Yes, he is.
He is?
He has been for a long time.
Who am I I thinking of that's still alive?
I don't know. Kenny Wayne Shepherd?
I don't know who that
Let's
is.
talk blues people.
No.
Kenny Wayne Shepherd was that blues guy.
If you know who I'm thinking of, let me know in the comments.
This isn't making the cut. Oh, did I ever tell you about the time I met Frankie Avalon?
Oh God, probably. But
so when I was 10, 11, I lived at this house that was one house away from this daycare center. It was a kindergarten daycare center type thing. It was Right Start Learning Center. If you live in Seminole, you probably know where it is. It's the house. My house doesn't exist anymore. It's a cul-de-sac. That's because we had a lot of land, but that doesn't mean anything. One day it was a Saturday. My mom's like, you need to go over to the kindergarten. I'm like, why?
you need to get away from me and go to school.
And she's like, she's like, you know that movie Back to the Beach you like? Frankie Avalon's over there making an appearance. I'm like, oh, okay, at a kindergarten? I'm like, yeah, it's some community event.
That's weird.
Yeah, so you just did a little meet and greet, and I met him, and that was it. It's not a big story at all, but I did get to meet Frankie Avalon.
I don't remember ever hearing that, or I just blocked it out of my memory.
Yeah, that's probably one of the 50 stories.
Did you walk up and were you like, the big Chihuahua?
No, I just said I like Back to the Beach.
So we never
11.
We never even talked about that. So his name in the movie is the Big Kahuna, because that's what he used to be called when he was the big surfer guy. But everybody in the movie can't remember it. So they call him something. It's this running joke. They call him something else. So they call him the big
crapola.
The big crapola, the big chihuahua, the big, what else did they say?
Well, folks, here you have it. The winner and still the big crapola.
Oh man.
There's so many of them, but the big chihuahua is probably my favorite, because the lady who says it's either Connie's character or somebody else, and she says in this Jewish grandma voice, she's like, yeah, the big chihuahua. But yeah, no one can remember, and he's like, Kahuna. You can tell he's getting so upset by the end of the movie. Why is anybody, remembering my name? That was probably the cheesiest part of the movie, is when he finally rode the big thunder, the big thunder from down under, and it was like, wow, this is really bad. But again, it's making fun of the surfer movies.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like when Batman went surfing in the 1966 series.
Yeah, it was bad.
But I think it was supposed to look bad, and they did a good job of making it look bad. And the funny thing about his name is he's not even listed as husband in the credits.
Huh.
Because he couldn't be known as Frankie, and that was basically all he was supposed to be known as, because it was Frankie and Annette, Frankie and Annette, Frankie and Annette. He couldn't be known as Frankie because they were copyrighted character names from the old beach party movies.
So basically any movie he was ever in, he was himself. He was Frankie.
Yeah, his character name was Frankie. Huh. So they just called him the Big Kahuna all the time, or
the Big Crapola. So yeah, I mean, I can keep going on and on about this movie now that I talk about it, with the PJ party and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, and there's a lot of throwback scenes. Even when there was the split up between Annette and Frankie, and they both had their ways of trying to win them back with their 1960s versions of things. Annette's like, I'm gonna overly flirt, and he's gonna get mad and punch him out, and he's like, and Frankie's like, well, we'll throw a bonfire to get her back.
Yeah. That's the way I won her back in my day. I threw a bonfire because I like girls to smell like smoke.
You hate bonfires.
I hate bonfires. I would definitely not follow you, Frankie.
Oh my God. Yeah. So much good stuff in this movie. So much good throwbacks. If you like 60s culture, movies and TV, because you get the TV characters,
but even if you don't, because I don't.
Yeah And it's just an extra level. You're like, oh, I get that, that's funny. And you get to see Frankie and Michael become friends, and it's like a generation gap at the same time, because the surfboards in the 60s were 12 feet long, and the ones in the 80s were 6. And there's it's like you were surfing on a coffee table. So yeah, I highly recommend it. And yeah, what do you have any final thoughts? No final thoughts on.
Just go look up how to Jamaica ska.
Yeah, before watching the movie, you got to learn how to Jamaica ska, or you'll be lost.
I thought you were gonna say before it becomes a thing. We're bringing back the Jamaican
We're gonna bring
ska.
back, yeah, we're gonna bring Fishbone back full on. So I hope you enjoyed this little throwback to Back to the Beach. I hope you enjoyed Alison coming back to Retro Rewatch. We want her back more.
If you didn't know, well.
Yeah, if you didn't, it's gonna happen anyway. Tell us what you think of Back to the Beach in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Here, there it is. Ooh, it's hovering. Anyway, not only does that let you know when we have new videos, it also shows that you enjoy the content that we're putting out and makes us want to do more. Or most likely do more anyway, because we have fun doing it. But it's nice to know people out there are enjoying it, all 2 of you. Where else can we be found?
We can be found on our website, cinemadnesspodcast.com, and Facebook is Cinemadness the podcast, and Instagram, which we don't really do much on Instagram, but we're there. And then Twitter, Cinemadness P.
Right. Yeah, especially if you enjoyed talking. If you enjoyed talking. Especially if you enjoy hearing us talk about movies, you can hear us talk more about movies and more modern takes on it on our podcast, wherever you get your major podcasts from. We're most likely there. And that's it. We really, really enjoyed going back to the beach. And I'm going to have Alison back, but I wonder, what are we going to watch next?
Hey, what are we watching next?
At this family reunion, we asked folks to come up with a more nutritious lunch that's higher in protein than a Skippy peanut butter lunch. Well, what'd we get?
I know, chicken salad.
Skippy has more protein.
Let's try this, Annette. Ham on rye.
Or meatloaf.
Sorry. Ounce for ounce, both Skippy Creamy and Super Chunk have more protein and no cholesterol.
And it tastes great, Mrs. Funicello.
So serve Skippy more often. For good nutrition, it's hard to beat Skippy.